Welcome to Maker Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from NIGHTCARVER Designs. And today on the show, I have Kimani from Vanstray Designs. Kimani is an awesome guy. He and I met on Clubhouse. You know, I talk about it a lot. I try to go on there at least once or twice a week and just hang out and chill and get to talk to other makers. So if you ever want to chat on there, just follow Maker Conversations and I'll open up a room there a few times a week and come hang out. And before we move on with the show, a big thank you to Ben from Conderosa Creations for coming on a third time for the show. I love having people back, so it was really great to have him hang out and help me get to know Kimani, who is just an amazing dude, always trying to learn and teach others what he has learned. So I thought it was really cool to have him on here with Ben, who we talk on Clubhouse all the time together. So it was a great way to just bring it offline there and make it a little bit more intimate. And before the show starts, a huge thank you to Sabretooth. They are truly an amazing company that have amazing tools. So if you ever want to check them out, NIGHTCARVER 10 in all caps will get you 10% off. All right. Thanks and have a great show.
I figure like I should wait to totally hijack your podcast. So I'll talk to you about what I'm super excited to talk to you about, but we'll do it in a little bit.
You got to keep Ben under control when he comes on as a guest host. You know, he just likes to talk.
It's that energy. It's that Cali energy.
I'm going to just keep it on the wraps.
Well, I remember last time I had Ben on, he was getting coached by his wife to not take over the podcast before he went on.
She's like, remember, this is not your podcast. You are the co-host to this podcast. It's for another person. Remember that as well.
Well, I figure you hang out with Luke so much that, like, you know, when you're able to get a word in edgewise, you're like, I gotta take it right now.
I gotta seize this moment.
That is very true. That is very true. If you've listened to our podcast, it's like basically 85% Luke, and then the rest is me just trying to get my licks in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I listened to 3. I was in traffic all day trying to come home, so I listened to like 3 episodes on the way here.
Oh, jeez. So, your
and
brain
you're
must
still gonna hang out with him. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I said, he's only said like 7 words all 3 episodes.
So you're not overloaded by him. Yeah. I got it. Really, you're just craving more.
I was like, I want to hear what this man has to say.
Oh man, just wait. Someday I'll start my own one-man podcast, and it'll just be
you talking to yourself.
It'll just be just Ben, no Luke. That's gonna be the title. Anyways, dude, enough about me. Let's talk about you. That's what we're here for.
All right. So,
I want to say hi because we got to see each other in person at Workbench Con, yes. And it was just so funny. I'm walking by, and then this guy gets his hair braided, right? So nobody besides like me recognizes him because they're so used to the hair that like I was just like, hey, what's up, man? And then it was just so funny. Like your story about how no one noticed you because of that was funny.
Yeah, I walked by like 3 or 4 people, and they were just like, you know, no, not even a second thought. Like Mike was sitting on his laptop, like in the lobby area working, and he kind of like looked up and he looked back down, and just kept doing his thing. And I was like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, oh, hey, what's up? And he looked down, and he had to like, oh, hey, how's it going? And I was like, it's still me, but like I went up and stood next to a couple of people, and it still took them a minute to be like, oh shit, your hair. That's what I do. I just come around and my hair's just
I mean, it is your signature, like it's on your logo. Mm-hmm. I mean you have changed it quite a few times since I've known you. Yeah. It hasn't always been the fro, but it is kind of like your staple though. I mean, everybody kind of does know you for that, so I can imagine. I mean, out of the corner, I mean, if you were just walking by me, I probably wouldn't think it was you either. You know what I mean? And I see you all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, like I said, it definitely took people. And then and I was wearing a hat, so I'd gotten like a total boat hat that I was walking around in. So it was like a double whammy for everybody.
Complete disguise.
That's right. He was like, he can wear hats. It was like, oh. But yeah, no, like I was gonna cut it recently, like just cut it down, because it's summertime now. I was like, it gets after a while, it just gets a little unruly because it grows super wonky sometimes. So I was like, I'll wait until after I do the podcast, and then I'm gonna trim it down. So
Well, we appreciate you coming full fro. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, make sure people recognize him in the promos.
Exactly. It was like, who's the bald guy?
Oh man. Well, dude, this is awesome, man. I'm glad Tiffany invited me to hang out with you because we have numerous things that our newest venture that I just arrived in my house today, which was pretty awesome. And then I made you
talk in codes, or is this something
fine. I'll bring it up. So come
nice.
on. I won a giveaway a while back, and Kimani has been hiding this from me for a while, dude, and it's just ridiculous. This is my logo, and I'll let Kimani
acrylic.
I'll let him explain it because I will just butcher it. It's just gorgeous to me.
Well, yes, it is made from 100% animal fur. It has been fossilized. No, that is MDF backer with a secondary 1/8 MDF backer on the bottom to stack it, and then all smoke colored acrylic. Ooh. So that was my first time doing a full on acrylic logo. I just so happened to have a place down the street that does signs, and they will every now and then sell me some of their scraps. So I was like, oh, cool. I'll buy some of this stuff. I was like, I'll buy whatever you have that's small. So I have a sheet of red that I haven't used. I have some mirrored stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll try it out. I'm learning, and it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg. So I was able to buy that. And then when I heard you were going to be the co-host tonight, I was like, yo, I probably should really do that sign. Father's Day is coming up. I already told him it's been many months since I actually said I was going to do the sign. So
it's all good.
Yeah. So when I was just full force over the last 4 or 5 days, just going in the shop, cutting the lasers, doing plywood, and then I hit a wall on Saturday night where I was starting to paint all the MDF, and I just blanked out, and I was like, how do I paint? How do I color this? And I just stopped. I stopped. I went home. I just went into went in the house, cleaned up, and I got on my phone. I started looking up other makers who do painting with MDF, and it's oh yeah, I just apply the next coat. All right, cool. Yeah. Seriously, brain just stopped working at 11 o'clock, and I was like, all right, it's probably a sign. So, but yeah, no, I sat there watching some home renovation show with my wife, just sitting there carefully gluing letters on top of each other.
Jeez, man, it is ridiculous, dude. It is. I wish you could see it in actual person, Tiff, because it looks awesome. I mean, everything's pristine, bro. Everything's lined up perfectly. It just looks so good, so good.
24 individually cut shapes.
Yeah, that was no big deal.
Labor of love, my friend. It's a labor of
dude
love.
I seriously appreciate it so much, dude. It's seriously gonna look. I just love it so much. It's gonna be cherished forever, man.
That's why I do this. That's why I'm gonna I like making stuff for people who would actually appreciate.
So what's your favorite thing that you're doing now, out of all your new things you're doing?
I don't know. I do things in waves. So, I'll start if I'm working on one thing, the cutting board I just finished is probably
that thing's cool.
I finished four things in the last week and a half, and outside of the 3 signs that I just finished, the cutting board was probably the most intricate fun thing that I've done, because
you went very different for it.
Yeah, it's been sitting. I've always wanted to do a brick pattern, and it's literally half the board has been sitting under my drum sander for probably half a year. I glued up. I did the initial glue up.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't touch it. And I started, doing other projects and stuff. So I was finishing that one and having it come out as nice as I feel that it did, was super awesome. and then the sign I actually worked on for Tiffany.
I was gonna say I have a goodie coming this way too. I'm pretty
Yeah,
excited about
should be there tomorrow actually.
it. Ooh.
But yeah, that one was like a couple of different techniques that I had never done before. So like just the ability to like try it out and have it work and actually be successful. Those in general are like my favorite things right now.
I'm excited to examine it because I have the laser now too, and I want to see like what you did and like get like chat with you about it once it comes here. So that'll be fun. Because I plan on touching this in like a week and a half.
Nice.
You've been talking about touching it for a month now.
I touch it every day. I like gentle caress. I'm just over here petting it as we chat.
Oh, I'm so bad about that. Like I got my laser and it probably sat in the crate for probably like a month and a half before I actually like opened it up. And part of that was like I was waiting on the other
You're
things
supposed to check the crate immediately.
I know. And then I think it was like shortly thereafter I cracked open the crate and I was like, all right, everything's good. And I just didn't do anything with it. And then finally, like when I started, I went like full force, like, okay, I'm gonna record every single thing that I did. I'm gonna, make video, make content, like do everything like straight out of
Exactly
the box.
where I'm gonna be heading very soon.
Right. And then
Yep.
I got all the way up to testing the laser and found out my tube was bad.
Yes.
Oh.
Supposed to check the crate right away.
Check the crate right away. So is your warranty was still good though, right?
Oh yeah. Like
Okay.
after I like tested it and did everything, I was like, hey, like I'm getting something weird with this tube. Like everything was firing right, but it was giving me like a donut instead of like a pin dot, which it should.
Oh yeah.
And I went to the Facebook group and everybody was like, oh, if you see this, like your tube is bad. And I was like, so it's just like a random like defect. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, good to know. And after after I like went round and round and round with support, finally they were like, yeah, we'll send you out a new one. And then they sent me out like the newest one, which means I had to like redo like my whole setup in the back, which I was like, that's fine. It's more content.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, you do have to utilize that stuff. Are you doing YouTube videos too?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
I knew we were talking about that.
Yeah, so my first, I don't think like 6 or 7 videos that are out there right now are basically all of me putting the laser together.
Okay.
So it's basically like, since some of the other laser videos that were out there that I was looking for, I think they had already had their laser set up and they were just like doing a recap of what they did. So mine actually starts from the beginning. Like you take it out the box, like there's no tube. This is how you install the tube. Like I go step by step by step.
Which laser do you have? Is it Omtech?
Yeah, I have the Omtech 80 watt.
Okay. Just in case people have one and they want to go check out the video, I figured might as well tell them
Yes.
which machine it is,
Yep, I'm on YouTube at Vanstray, so make it, the names across all platforms are pretty much the same. So,
is it Vanstray Designs on YouTube as well, or just Vanstray?
Just Vanstray.
Okay.
The logo's the same. So
he's like Prince, just one name.
Just look for the fro. And
honestly, like if you find the fro, it's more than likely 90% chance it's gonna be me.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Before we get too far away from that cutting board, I just wanted to say, bro, like the lines, the chunkiness, like the chamfer, right? Chamfer. Bro, it just looks so damn good. I just kept seeing, every time I see you like a picture of it, I'm just like, wow. Because I'm like, I love the over exaggerated chamfer. You know what I mean? Like I love the under chamfer because they work as handles. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's
right.
It works both ways. So it's aesthetically pleasing as well as functional, which is nice. And
this man is very passionate about cutting boards.
Yeah, whatever.
I can appreciate that.
I totally agree with everything you're saying, Ben. It just, if you say your face, you're just like, yes.
I enjoy what I do. What can I say?
No, but it really is though. Everything works beautifully, like you're saying.
And the coloring, the color choice of it, like it just looks great, bro. And I wanted to mention that because I wrote it down and I was like, oh, and the juice groove on top.
With the little indent for the logo.
Yes. With the logo. I love how you did that. Like that's so clever. Anyways, enough about
No.
cutting boards.
It does stand apart. No, you know what though? You're discussing his design, which is just so different from everything else that we've seen. You know, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that we've seen kind of all put together on one piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Like, I'm a very, for the most part, I'm a very like humble person. So like when I get, somebody's like, "Oh man, that was awesome," and I was like, "Oh, thank you," but then when like, people are like, "Oh, dude, that thing was like fucking wicked," and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what to do with this much praise." Like, I'd let it go to my head, but I don't know what to do with it after that. So, no, I definitely appreciate it, and it's one.
This interview might get a little uncomfortable for you then.
Okay.
I find that when most people come on and you compliment them, like it does become that very bashful moment. Like, oh, me? No.
So I mean, yeah, there are times where I look at something like the thing I finished last night. I was like, I just stepped back away from it. It's like, I did a fucking good job. Like, this is good. So, and then like I sent it to the client, and he was like, "Dude, that's hot." And I was like, "Appreciate that. You can come pick it up now."
Now get it out of here before I break it. That's how I always feel.
Yeah.
You
this
too?
out of my house right now.
As soon as it's done, I want it out of here. I'm freaking out that I had these 2 flag boxes that I finished like a week ago, just sitting here on my outfit table. I'm freaking out every day. I tell Betty, we got to figure this out because we're trying to figure out how to wrap them because of the glass. And anyways.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So I'm the same way, man. Just get it the hell out of my shop as soon as it's done.
Yeah. Because I mean, I put everything together in the living room while we were watching TV. So it was like last night I was like packing up all the scraps of tape and cardboard and miscellaneous pieces, just like getting it all off the floor because I have a toddler and a baby who will just eat anything off the ground. So I'm like, all right, got to clean up and got to do this. And I was like, all right, well, it's done. And my whole thing was like, I give myself self-imposed deadlines that nobody cares about, but I'm like, I want all of this done before Father's Day. Like, not because just because I want a clean slate. So like getting out all the signs and then getting the cutting board finished. Well, that one's actually a Father's Day gift, but getting all of that finished, I was like, all right, it's done. It's out of here. Like now I can like relax this week, and then we're gonna try to take like a little trip next week. So it's like I don't have anything like hanging over me. Like, oh, when I get back, I got to do this thing, or when I get back, I got to do that thing. And I'm like, I don't have to do nothing if I don't want to. So it's like a nice like apparently I live off stress. So like I like that climax of just like stress, like hurry, like burn like really bright, and then like blow out the candle, and I'm like, I'm done. So
I just saw a meme or a reel the other day that they were like, it was all about that. It was like nothing is like important to me until the very last second, and then it's important as all hell. You know what I mean? It was just like that. If I have too much time, it's not important to me. But if I have this very little bit of time, then that's when I shine my best. You know what I mean?
I think sometimes too is that you procrastinate on purpose because you're just thinking about it and you're kind of planning it out in your head and you're just not ready to make it yet. Like it has to be ready. Like, Yeah.
And then that's what a lot of that was. It was just like, all right, I had it like the logo that I designed for you. Like I had the file on my computer since like April or earlier, but I edited it. I got it ready. I got it ready for like to go to the laser, and then I just didn't do anything. It was just like, it's there. I'll get to it. It's there. And then like as the last couple of weeks of March and May hit, I was like, oh, all right, let me like slowly get my brain into grind mode. And then it's like, and then I'm just like, I'm focused. I'm like hyper focused and like dedicated. I'm like, kids are in bed. I'm going out to the shop. I'm gonna do this for like 2 or 3 hours. Go to sleep, wake up the next day. Go to work, do the same thing, and then I'm like I said, it's just that build up of just like work, and then I'm done. And then I don't, I take a break. I don't go into the shop for like a couple of days, just chill out, and everything's like, oh, all right, and then I get back into it. So like I clean the slate because I'm like, oh, I'm trying to start my epoxy YouTube series. So I'm like, get everything out of the way, clean slate, go it, hit it full force, and then procrastinate on releasing the videos for about a month.
So this is going to be in addition to all the little shorts that you've been doing on Instagram. This is going to be like the real thing now. You're going to put it all together.
It's going to be like the full format and kind of the same thing that I was doing with the laser stuff. I already have like, this is how, you mix your ratios. This is how, like, if you want to do lettering, this is a good epoxy for lettering. If you're doing like live edge, this is like how you prep your live edge. Like basically a to Z, like if you're coming off the street and you just bought some epoxy, like you should be able to make a board or whatever you want after following these directions.
That's awesome.
And like, not because, I had to learn everything I'm doing now from like either messing up or somebody like telling me along the way or finding like a snippet of a video. So I'm like, let's make it easier for the person who's like, I'm trying this out. I'm super nervous. I don't want to mess up. Like, if I can help like a couple of people, like it makes it worth it.
Where's the humor ratio in your videos? Because you're funny on Instagram. Your reels are always really funny. You go out of your way, like the Dexter one a couple weeks ago. I was dying, dude. That's so funny.
That was Luke in 3D Dave. Like every time I do like any sort of panning around in my shop, they're like, dude, that looks like Dexter's Kill Lab. And I'm like, I know. You told me. I'm trying to get some stuff on the walls.
For those who don't know, his walls are all like white plastic from the Is it from like the insulation, right?
Yeah, it's called like a white metallic paper or something like that. So yeah, it just buffs up against the insulation in the walls. But yeah, it's like it's great for lighting. So like
I'm sure it's super bright in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, they're like, dude, it looks like a kill room. Like, I was like, yeah, haha. And then Paul, he came over and I was like, hey, you want to make a reel with me real quick? I need to wrap you in plastic. He was like, all right.
That's awesome.
But the humor, like that's just I have a very sarcastic personality. So like if I can throw that into like a video, and I try not to take a lot of this stuff too seriously because I think anybody who does, let me phrase that correctly. There are a lot of people who do, and it gets a little stuffy. So I'm like, I rather just be me, do the things I like to do. Like people like to laugh, and if I could do something that doesn't feel out of character for me, that would like make somebody laugh or somebody will get a chuckle out of it, like I'm all for it. So I'm going to try to do that more in the instructional videos that I do. I think I was talking to you about it, Tiffany, and like on Clubhouse or something like that. Just like, I'm just going to like do, try to let more of that personality that I kind of get out of like teaching mode and just be like,
I have the same problem. I think that's why we were talking about it, because like I am hilarious. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
It's so like when I start voiceovering something, like I start teaching, I go into teacher mode and I'm like, stop. But I even said it to myself the other day, you got to stop trying to teach on Instagram. You have to entertain on Instagram and teach on YouTube. I'm like, stop this. Don't give the goodies out on Instagram. Do that in YouTube. So I'm pushing myself to do the same thing. It's just like, let people know who I really am and, put that education stuff somewhere else. It's hard.
Yeah. Because I feel like, like, oh, people are watching this video because they want to learn something. So like, I don't want to distract them with like, me making like a smart ass comment. But I was like, honestly, if you were talking to me like we're talking right now, I'm going to make a smart ass comment. Like as soon as I find an opening, I'm going for it. So
it's all encouraged too.
Yeah. But yeah, and everything I say is all in jest, is all in love. So I'd never try to say anything with like any ill will behind it or whatever. But like I'll take the jab if it's allowed. So I'm like I said, just like I'm trying to like learn to relax and just put that in my content and just see what happens. So like
that's awesome.
Yeah, the video I put out about the crosscut sled is for some reason going crazy right now. Like I haven't hit like 100,000 views or whatever, but like all day I think I gained, it was like 5,000 extra views on that video. Like,
wow.
Last 24 hours. So I was like, and it's a quick short video of me saying I'm gonna do some shady shit, and I was like, all right. Like it got 1,000 views when I first posted it. I'm like, all right, that's cool for me. And
yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't understand the algorithm. I don't understand how it works, but You know, they're like the thing you put the least amount of work into.
Yeah.
Like, the thing's gonna go crazy.
Big Al is a tough one to figure out. You know what I mean?
Big Al.
That's what I call. That's what I call him. You know, the algorithm. Big Al.
That's
yeah.
pretty funny.
He's a tough one to figure out, man. But no, that's cool, man. I just love your humor, and I just was hoping to, I'm glad that you're thinking about bringing it into your YouTube stuff, because I think that's, why not show your real personality? You know what I mean? Like it's like, I totally understand what you were saying, Tiff. I think that's a very smart idea to be, saving the educational stuff for your YouTube videos versus, trying to, I think that's really smart. It's great.
Well, you
great
start
advice.
trapping yourself too to only having makers follow you, and it kind of like takes away from the people who just want to enjoy. So if you want to grow and you want people to buy from you, you got to have people who are fans of the art and less fans of learning. Because I have such a big maker following, and I love them all. Like, believe me, but I also need people who are going to shop. I need the shoppers.
Yes, that's key. That is key.
Because I sell a lot of tools.
And that's why
that money doesn't come to me unless I have a deal with them or something. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe that's what you need to work on. Getting that deal.
Believe me. They've been getting stronger and stronger. I'm working on it.
That's awesome.
That's
so
definitely
awesome.
Been my post workbench con takeaway is definitely to reach out a lot more and start working on some of those extra side deals with people in exchange for the stuff I'm already doing. So I'm like, hey, I'm already going to do this with or without you. So this is a chance for you to just like throw it in there if you're down. And look, surprisingly enough, my sub 2K followers, like they're like, yeah, we're down with that. Like, you like the stuff you're making so far. So here you go. Like we'll work something out. So, yeah, that's been a big, I feel like I got the workbench con bump. Like, I gained a lot of motivation and a lot of followers, like all in one weekend. And then like,
not a bad thing.
I was like, all right, it was like May for Makers, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit it every day, 30 days, figure it out, make some content, like just like go for it. So
I went strong for like 4 days.
Hey, it's a solid 4 days.
It was a solid, and then I came back for Maker Crush because I just had to flirt with people because that's fun.
Yeah, that's you. I did 0 days of May for Makers.
Yeah, I usually do maybe one, and that's about it, or none. Yeah, it's just hard, that added pressure, but it's also nice if you don't have any content and you need inspiration. It is a nice inspiration.
Yeah, I was busy trolling like Bryce from Waffle Beaver. Like I said, you can't get 30 days. You'll never make it. And he, to his credit, I think he made it almost all the way. And he kept saying, "I'm only doing this to spite you." Like whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
He doesn't want to be a full-on content creator, but then he also does want to be a full-on content creator. He struggles.
Yeah. He's very torn, that Bryce. Speaking of making, this is Maker Conversation, and we haven't really talked about it. What drove you to start making? You know what I mean? Like what was your driving force behind it?
Well, I was like thinking about. I was like, I know that question's going to come up in the car. So, I've always been a creative type. So, my background, I as most kids do. Like in middle school, I used to draw all the time, and then in high school and college, I actually went to college for photography. So, photography was my job for ever. Like, I still do it on the side every now and then, but not as much as everything else I'm doing.
Like weddings or
no. I was a commercial photographer in Atlanta for a while. So primarily did photo assisting, where I just go and assist the main photographer, do lighting, do setups.
See all the lighting and setup.
Yeah, travel. We traveled up and down the East Coast doing different projects for like TV and music and video and stuff. So I got to do a lot of really cool things, meet a lot of really cool people that way. And the best part about assisting is that, like, at the end of the day, like, you're done. Like, somebody sends you a check and you're done. Like, you don't have to sit there and edit the photos. You don't have to deal with the clients and the art directors. You're pretty much just like, hey, can you drop this gear off for me? And I was like, yep. And then I'm out. So no, it was some of the best way to spend like my like 20s, like, just like
Yeah, that
out
sounds
there.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was super awesome. And I met, like I said, I met a lot of really cool people doing that. So so I did that for a while. Then the economy kind of crashed, and I ended up taking a full-time job doing product photography for a company. So I was doing that until I moved to Alaska. And then so I was in Alaska for about 5 years, and they didn't really
Whoa.
I was gonna say he's gonna try to glaze over. We have to draw back to
Yeah.
the reason of why, because people don't normally just move to Alaska. I mean, you are up there. You're almost there.
Well, yeah. So, as with all stories of black guys who end up in Alaska, my wife took me.
I was gonna say, obviously, your wife took you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I met her when we lived in Atlanta. We started dating, and literally on our very first date, she was like, by the way, I've applied for a job in Alaska, and so I may or may not be here in a few months. I was like, cool. So, do you want appetizers? So like, we went on that date, and then we went on another date, and then it kind of became a thing. And so like 6 months down the road, she was like, hey, you know that job I told you about? Like, yeah. She's like, well, they called me for an interview, but they've done that before, and I probably won't get it. I was like, all right. So, basically went through the whole thing. This is now like January, and she's like, so they're offering me the job. So I was like, all right. So blah 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 blah. It was kind of just like, hey, you go out there, you get established, you get settled, and once you're like ready, I'll come out there. So, about 6 months to a year later, I moved. I was like, I don't really have anything solid, work wise holding me back. So
Yeah.
I'll just go and figure it out. So, so yeah, I moved out there. We moved out into
That's pretty amazing. Like, that's quite a connection to do all of that together, and and make that leap.
Yeah, it's like some people, like, when and like when I met her, I was like, she challenges me, and I like a challenge. I kind of want to see how this works out. And I had a good support network, and my best friend was like, listen, it's Alaska. How often in your life can you say you went to Alaska? If it doesn't work out, you can come move back in here with me. And I was like, solid plan.
And she threw out the challenge on the first date, bro.
Right.
She was like, I might be moving to Alaska.
Yeah.
Like some guys have been like, goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not moving to Alaska. There's no way I'm moving to Alaska.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, but she was like, yeah, I've applied for it. But, she kind of like, I applied for it a few times and I haven't gotten it, but I'm just letting you know, just in case they call me. And I was like, all right, but at least we'll, for now, let's just see how this goes. Cause this could be like a good date and the next one could be trash, and it won't matter.
Yeah.
But obviously the dates worked out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
what part of Alaska did you end up in?
So that's the really fun part. So before I moved out there, I went to go visit her in Anchorage, and Anchorage is what I call postcard Alaska. It's the one, if somebody travels on a cruise, that's the one they send you the postcard from, with the mountains in the background and the northern lights. Really nice.
Yeah.
We moved to a place called Bethel, Alaska. That is a village that you can only get to by plane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like, I think like 400 miles west of Anchorage. Like the river, which is the only other way you can get in and out of the place, freezes over in the winter, and they use it as
wow.
So it's like, oh, we're gonna take the ice road up to the other villages. So yeah.
What a different life, huh?
Oh my god, dude! Like everyone's like, oh, like Northern Exposure. I was like, probably. I saw like a couple episodes. I'm assuming yes. Like dirt roads, one flashing caution light, no traffic lights, just one caution light at the hospital crosswalk. Yeah, it was.
Is this like wild. You go out for supplies like once a month type of thing? Like I'm going into town. It won't be even another 30 days till I go into town again.
Yeah. So we went, basically like the planes like landed and took off in probably like 30 minutes. Like the flight attendants and the pilots is like, we are not getting stuck out here. So like all you need to get off, the rest of you need to get on, and let's go. Like There was nobody like walking through picking up bags and trash and whatnot. They were like, "We got to go," and nobody cared because it was like, "Yeah, we're trying to leave."
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, Alaska Airlines has a Club 49 plan where if you live out in one of those villages, you get 3 totes for free up to 50 pounds. Because basically, you would go in Anchorage, go to Walmart, buy yourself 3 totes, fill it up with all your supplies for like the next 2 months, and then fly back in. So
Wow.
and
That's
then
crazy.
and the side hustle was McDonald's because we didn't have fast food.
Oh.
You were selling dollar cheeseburgers for like $5.
Mm.
It was like, what was that? The longest yard. It's like,
Yes,
guys,
he's got the
I got these cheeseburgers.
That's how In-N-Out is on Catalina Island, because it's so close, but they can't. You got to take a boat over, and the guys over there who like in the bar will be like, "Dude, if you bring us a bag of In-N-Out burgers, you're drinking for free for the night." You know what I mean? So like, that's the golden ticket right there.
You said Catalina, and I couldn't stop going Catalina wine mixer.
Okay.
I'm like,
boats and hoes.
Yeah. It's like, damn it, Ben.
But yeah, no, that was like every now and then I'd go. They're like, "Oh, you going into the city? Here's $20. Bring me like give me like a cheeseburger. Don't give me fries, but give me like 3 cheeseburgers and this and that." And I was like, For real? Like, they cost $1. Yeah. Just keep the change. Just bring me back like 3 cheeseburgers.
Well, you can't bring fries back. They don't travel.
They don't.
Fries don't travel.
No.
So, but yeah, they would I would just take one of those like insulated bags and I was like, just put the burgers right in. I'm out.
Look at you, man. Making money on the side.
You gotta hustle. Hustle in the snow. Negative 40 degree weather. I gotta stay warm with cash.
Oh, wait, now we got sidetracked. So what happened in Alaska? Is that where you found woodworking?
No, so I found wood. So Alaska was why I stopped doing photography full time and started doing IT work. I found woodworking when I moved pretty much into Washington. So it was like right in the transition between Alaska and Washington. We were moving because my wife had a better opportunity here for work, and we wanted to start a family after we got married. So we were like, all right, so what do we want to do? So I was like, all right, well, we'll do what we do, try to get pregnant and see what happens. And bam, I knocked it out the park. So we got pregnant a little faster than I thought we would.
Same on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
That fast.
Wow.
That fast.
Oh, we waited.
No. No.
Oh. Yeah, we were like, yeah, we'll play it safe for, a couple of months, and then we'll, when we're ready, like we'll go for it. So anyway, we landed in Washington, and we were like, all right, we're settled in, and then next thing you know, she's like waving a pea stick in my face, and I was like, it's 7:45. What are you doing? So yeah, I was like, all right, well, I guess we got to find a house now. So during that period, all these epoxy videos from I think it was like Black Forest. It was like nothing but
those
like
damn tables over and over again.
And over on Facebook. It was like, dude, I think I want to try that. Like, I feel like I just got hypnotized by it. I was like, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna try
today, 3 buckets at once.
Yeah. I was like, I found them on Instagram. I was following them. Like, how do you mix it? How do you pour it? Like, how do you do all this? I gotta figure it out. So yeah, so we moved, and this is when we bought this house. It had a 2-car garage that had a workbench already in it, and I was like, this is the first time in my life that I've had like a dedicated workspace.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, cool. Let me. I found a piece of wood. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I found a piece of wood. Live edge. It was like some guy. It was like in the back of this yard, and the guy was like, "Yeah, I don't care, take it." So I found a piece of wood, and then I waited until like there was a deal on epoxy because it was crazy expensive for. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just wait.
So expensive. That's one of the biggest reasons I don't play with it.
Me too.
It was like a Black Friday sale or something like that, and I was like, this is probably about as cheap as it's gonna get. So I went and bought it, and then followed the directions and crossed my fingers, and it worked out. And I was like, oh, okay. And then from there, I was like, all right, so what else can I make? So I was very fortunate that in our neighborhood we have a tool library, and basically it's like a public
That's
service
cool.
where
What is that?
people donate all their old used tools,
Hmm.
and they treat it like it's like a public library
You
kind
just
of
check
thing.
it
It's like,
out.
You can
yeah,
just
just check it
literally
out.
check it out. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's
I
really
checked out
neat.
like a Craftsman job site saw. I checked out a scroll saw. They finally 2 months in they ended up with like somebody's old planer. So I like learned how to use a planer, and I was like, oh, so I made like a cutting board, and like I
Is it
literally
like
just
Blockbuster where people are waiting at the place for you to return the planer at the end? God damn, come on, he's got the planer still.
yeah, I did I did get a couple of messages. They were like, hey, are you still using that planer? I was like, I mean, kind of, but I guess I could bring it back. But yeah, no, the place is great. Like, it's a great asset for the community. I wish a lot
Yeah.
more communities had one, because
Yeah, it sounds
I mean,
awesome.
it's a lot of those odd, I only need it one time tools,
Yeah.
and you pay like a one, like he's like it's a donation basis. So like you give him $20, and for the year that's your donation. That's all. Like, and then you
Wow.
could just go
Awesome.
in and rent as many tools as often as you want.
What about
So
like if something breaks or like the blade breaks or whatever? Are you responsible to replace it?
uh no, well, I mean that didn't happen, but I think there was like there was, if it's a defect in the thing, like there, I mean, because like I said, these things were like used by somebody else,
Yeah.
and they're, so they try to do what they can to like maintain them and keep the blade sharp. But if stuff happens, they're just like, all right, we don't have that tool right now until
Yeah, no, I get it. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of people who were like, "Hey, I broke it," and they would like, "Here's money for the blade," or "Here's whatever."
Yeah.
So because it was a good like community service, like people would try to do right and make sure like it was available.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so I made a donation. I told a bunch of people. My mother-in-law came to visit, and she made a donation. She's like, "I don't even live here, but I like this." So she like, she made a donation. I donated like some bits and some planer blades and everything, because I was like, I use this thing the most. So here you go. So yeah, it was great.
That's great.
They actually moved into the public library. So now they're like part, they have a little room in the back of the public library where you can still go like rent yard tools. So
That's really neat, dude, though. That's a great opportunity to have. So you got to get introduced to it at a very affordable way. Like,
yeah, like
nothing
I
cooler than
probably
that.
I definitely would not be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't have that opportunity to like give me the bug to be like, oh, I can make more stuff. I could try things out. And I was also very fortunate that my boss at the time was also into woodworking, and he's like, oh, I just bought this giant jet 10-inch arbor saw with like a 52-inch clearance on it. So like, I got this old saw if you want it. I was like, all right, sure. So
Wow.
yeah, so he like gave me like, it's like a old Rockwell Delta cast iron 8-inch blade saw, and I was like, dude, I got something.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
thing
can
shook
cut
like
stuff
hell,
now.
but I was like, I made one board on it, and I was like, I'm good on this. but but yeah, so the long story short, so that happened. I started making more things. I decided to like, I want to do this more professionally, so I bought like a planer, a jointer, and like like a shop vac, and it's like, those are the big things. I need to like make wood straight. So I did
Mm-hmm.
that, and I entered into I started following a bunch of people, and I found the Makers Challenge, and I was like, I think I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out, see what happens. Like, see if I can. I'm gonna enter in the novice category, obviously, but
Mm.
I won, and like I won a whole bunch of goodies that I was like, oh, I think I got a shot at this now. Like,
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that gave me the bump in confidence, and the bump in like shop supplies to like make a real go of it. So
That's
from then
awesome.
on, I just been like trying stuff out.
And killing it.
So appreciate it. Yeah. So trying to.
And now teaching too, on top of it,
Yeah, like I said, there were so many people who like I've asked questions to, and were like took the time to like answer
Mm-hmm.
them, that I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is literally just my way of like trying to give back, or like give to that next group of people who are interested in it, who want to learn more. And I was like, here you go. Like, your gateway to entry is a lot cheaper than than mine was.
And I think that's why I turn into teaching mode too, is because a lot of people ask me questions. So then to answer the questions before I get them, I just start teaching. It's like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get asked about this later, so let's talk about it, because I'm totally gonna be doing a video on that airbrush that I was using for the video I posted today, because everyone's like, well, look at that airbrush. Like, and I'm just like, oh, it's part of the Make Your Eggs kit. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like anyone could go grab it, you know, like it's not anything mysterious, but
people like to learn from people they like too. That's the other thing. You know what I mean? Like they like learning from you. Same thing with you, Kimani. Like, I've been watching your reels. That's something else I wrote down. Like what I've noticed over the last, I don't know, you'll probably correct me, I don't know, last few months at least, you've kind of switched to doing more like educational type reels and stuff like that. You know, you've started giving tips, and but I love the one where you're like, the top 3 like things, and like one of them was like, you have you have a baby, you have a young baby, you have an old tarp or whatever, put it underneath the baby while they're eating. It makes it so much easier to clean up. You know what I mean? Like, I know that was kind of an older one, but still, like, I think that's really cool that you've kind of, because a lot of people, they can either try and go like the funny route with reels, like, oh, I'm doing lip sync stuff, which I've started doing here and there, a few of them, because I think they're fun. But then there's the other side of it where, you're trying to do educational things, and which is really cool. I mean, I think that's a smart way to go about it. And it's a good practice, probably, like you said, for moving forward to do more of your YouTube stuff, which is cool. I like that.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah. Like, I just, I don't even think I noticed it. And I just start pivoting or just start doing things without noticing until somebody like brings it up, like you just did. So I just, for me, I was like, I'm going to put this out, and I'm going to just, this is the way I see it in my head, and, or, the way it sounds to me when I like play it back in my head. Like, so, and I just put it out that way. And so, everybody's interpretation is usually a little different, but I was like, if it feels natural to me, then I feel like it's easy enough for people to digest. So, some of those things are definitely were like, oh yeah, this is like full on information based, like, get what you can get out of it kind of thing. And other things are just like, this looks good, this sounds good, it syncs up with the music, this is what we're doing today.
Yeah. Well, whatever you're doing, it's working, man. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Keep it up.
I think it's because we get to talk to him on Clubhouse too all the time, so we know his personality, and it just hits so much better for us, because it's just like, oh, there he is showing it to people. Like, people are experiencing Kimani how we know him,
So. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point. I was trying to think back. To when we first connected, and I think it was Clubhouse, obviously, right? Yeah. It was Clubhouse. It wasn't Maker Stoop, right? It was Clubhouse.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it was Clubhouse. It was Clubhouse, and
then the Stoop, obviously. Yeah. And then we're Pagine brothers.
We are.
Yeah, so that's
you had to work Pagines into the conversation.
I had to because fashion.
If I had gotten home earlier today, I would have thrown them on.
I thought about it. I thought about it. I was like, gosh, should I be wearing these things?
They're so comfortable though.
Oh man, I met you guys when you were in your little Pagine segment. I'm like, what are these guys talking about? Oh my god, what are they wearing? And you guys are all about it.
The latest in fashion.
Yeah. Hello, it's fashion. I love it, dude, so much.
But yeah, no, Clubhouse was like, I think Clubhouse was crucial to like a part of my growth. Like,
me too.
I got to meet like both of you and so many other like people, and I got to talk to them in a format that wasn't like a DM, which I think it built a lot more friendships and a lot stronger friendships. So especially like when everybody's locked up at home, quarantine style, like it was like the perfect thing at the time.
We're all just making and chatting while making, like,
yeah, like I'm at home in my garage, just like, hi, me too. And we were just like all like learning and doing our craft, and just you watched so many people like grow from asking like a bunch of questions in the chat room to like watching their products and watching stuff they're making, like watching the stuff Dre's doing, like Dre 2.5 years ago versus like the stuff she's working on today. Like you just watched her like build up to the box, the flower cubes that she's doing and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, it's crazy to see her like her, how her trip basically from when we first started talking to her in Clubhouse to where she is now, I mean, just her journey has been just like crazy, you know what I mean? And so like, but I think for all of us, since we've got on Clubs, like you were saying, it's really interesting to see everybody who we've kind of connected with, because it was a Instagram is a huge community, right? But then like within the huge community, I feel like the Clubhouse community is like a smaller knit kind of group, and we've all kind of connected and formed this like interwoven like kind of thing that we're all kind of floating on in a sense. You know what I mean? Like we're all kind of just there.
We need more friends joining us again, though.
We do. No, we do. We need to figure it out.
If you're listening and you're hearing Clubhouse, what is it? Download it, join it, and just follow some of us, and you'll find where we hang out, because we hang out in multiple rooms. But like, look for maker conversations, look for the joinery. Like there's a bunch of different rooms that open up all day. Working hands. A lot of us podcasters now have. I just realized that as I'm naming them, it's all podcasters rooms.
Yeah, exactly.
But come join us, because I mean, if you want to talk to people who talk to people all day about making, it's fun. Like I try to go on there once a day if I can, and if anyone's on, I'll start a room. So. Yeah,
it's just a neat community, you know what I mean? It's like it's a nice way to connect and to learn from each other, which is what I was trying to bring back to what Kimani was saying. Like it's really neat that we have that opportunity to just
just hang out with people.
Yeah, well, and like look, if
minutes.
And questions like look, next time I'm painting a sign, I make signs, but I don't make as signs like Tiffany makes them. But if I ever have to make something, I know there's somebody I can reach out to.
Oh yeah, Luke called me for his first time carving a sign. The QR code. I got a call like, hey.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's it's like an inner network inside our community that is really great. You know what I mean? And so I think it's awesome, man. I
believe I'll be calling Kimani when I start playing with my laser, because I believe in talking with people, asking questions before going and making 1,000 mistakes. So like, I might as well just get the education first.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. I dug in, and I messaged Chrissy from Oak Hill Millworks, and I was like, hey, I got laser questions. Like, I'm getting ready to. Yep. So, I'm getting ready to buy one, or I'm looking at buying one, and like I picked her brain about everything, and it wasn't in the budget for what she was recommending, so it kind of went, I went a different way. But
she got a fancy one. That's why she got an epilogue.
But the concepts are still the same when you get down to it. So, but yeah, it was like just being able to like tap into the community and just ask those kind of questions, just makes that process so much easier to like transition into. So yeah, my door is always open. You can slide into my DMs with all your laser questions.
Oh, I will. I've been hitting up all kinds of people who have lasers, just getting them ready for when I'm ready. I'm like priming them all. Be ready. I'm coming to hang out.
So, I feel like I looked through my messages, and I know I've like asked a couple of people who were doing something. I was like, hey, I'm getting ready to do this thing. Like, how do you do that? And they're like, oh, well, this is like the easiest way to go about it. And I'm like, cool. And then I get ready to message them again, and I look like, oh man, that was like 4 months ago, and I still haven't done that thing.
You're priming them. You're priming them.
They're like, but hey, I'm really about to do this thing now. So one more question.
Yeah, it's just one more.
That's so funny.
Ben, you have to go.
Yeah, I gotta go. But it's all good. I'm pushing it as far as I haven't got the nod.
I'm so on like wife duty. I'm like, he has to leave at 9:00 my time. He has to get his butt to I'm sorry, I almost said Kempo now because we were talking about it.
Taekwondo.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I gotta get the kids over there. No, but this is so much fun. I don't want to leave. I love and especially like I'm so honored to be on again with
Kimani's
Tiffany
episode.
But then I'm honored to be on Kimani's first ever podcast showing right now, which Tiffany loves popping cherries over here. She's just popping those cherries.
I like to be somebody's first. Special.
It's special.
Actually, I have been popping a lot of cherries this week. I did Mike Jones from Man and his dog carvings. This dude is fucking talented, but it was his first podcast. And then
Nice.
Patsy was on here too the other day. So it was
I love
hers.
Patsy.
Yeah.
She's such a great person. She's so
Mhm.
cool. I love her. But anyways, yeah, this is awesome. Dude, I had so much fun. Kimani, thanks for allowing me to be here and hang out with you.
I'll be honest, I didn't know you were coming.
Oh.
She
likes to do Tiffany likes to do that.
I thought he knew and I totally ruined it. It was the first time I've ever ruined it for anybody.
So I was in the room and I was in Clubhouse and I was like, hey, do you need anything from me? And she was like, oh, I'll need some photos, and then we'll be talking, and then Ben's gonna do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, oh, Ben's gonna be. She's like, oh, I didn't tell you. And I was like, well, I know now. But I was like, it's cool because no, it's great to talk to somebody very like familiar with talking with. So it's like
yeah.
It eases any like, all right, who is this? I don't know this person. Like,
there's no anxiety. Yeah.
She just brings me on because she's like, look, nobody's gonna be worse than him. So you're going to be great. Don't worry. I'm just teasing. I like to make it
easy for you.
Yeah, we'll make it real easy. No, it's great, man. So much fun.
No, thank you for coming, man. I appreciate it. Like it's been great I love seeing people, and I definitely enjoy like being able to like talk with people like 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 in this case.
That's my preferred. That's why.
Yeah.
The old double team.
The old double stuff.
Tag teams back again.
That's
I have
awesome.
to control myself so much. You know that.
Dude, when are we starting that after show? That's what I'm wondering.
My job ends in quite a few days now.
Because that needs to happen. We need to make that happen.
Oh, I'll come back for that one.
Ooh.
I have an account on Instagram called Hot for Hardwoods, and I really want to have fun with that account, but I have not at all yet. There's 2 videos on there just to put on there, but
dude, we're gonna make some videos. We're gonna put some stuff up. That's gonna be good. I just
get so scared that I'm gonna ruin any brand relationships. That's my big fear, because like in all the videos, there's tools, and those tools represent brands. So I'm like, oh. People are pretty lenient with Luke though, so
I was gonna say at some point you just got to be you, and they're gonna want to work with you, or they're not gonna want to work with you because you're you. You know what I mean? Like, and especially in this day and age, like, you'd be surprised what people are willing to back. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, look at the songs that people are using on Instagram now. Most of them say "fucking them," like, or shit, or badass bitch. Like, it's just like, wow. Like that used to be prohibited, and now Instagram's like, here, use this music, enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I was like, I'm a badass bitch. Check out my Ryobi saw.
Yeah.
Before we go, let's take one more look at how beautiful this is. This is just one amazing, beautiful sign. Kimani, you outdid yourself.
Yeah.
I told him
he's ready for the praise now, and now he's accepting it.
Yeah. In my story, I told everybody you guys are playing for second. You know what I mean? Everybody's playing for second right now.
Oh,
killing it.
Appreciate that, man. No, it was like I said, it was a labor of love. Like I like one of my favorite things is like making stuff for people who I feel like actually appreciate it. So that is definitely one of the driving factors that I put a lot of effort into certain pieces. Just so like I know where it's going. Like it'll actually be appreciated. So like you get that,
I think that
extra bit of oomph.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so before I let you go, Kimani, one last question.
Okay.
What do you vision yourself doing in this making world? Is this just going to be a fun side thing that you're investing your time in just for your pure enjoyment? Or is this something that you're trying to pursue more? Like, I'm just kind of curious.
So right now, I don't want it to be a full-time job down the line.
That's good. You don't have to want that. Yeah.
No, I think I've talked to Pete about this, and Pete's probably mentioned it as well from Petrie's workshop. That I like my day job, and I like being able to turn this off and on whenever I need to. So
that has to be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like ultimately this is supposed to be like my stress relief. Like it may stress me out sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's like my stress relief.
Yeah.
So I want to be able, my ultimate goal at this point is like, I want to break even. Like I want a 0-sum game. Like if I make a thing or whatever, I wanted to be able to like, make it for somebody, like sell it to buy a new tool, like, and just zero out the books. I'm not trying to get rich off of it, but also build up a good community and build up a good community so that I get a chance to like, work with brands, kind of branch off and to do some of that
Yeah, I
stuff.
can see that totally for you. Like just enjoying it, working with those brands, again, to save that money to make not cost too much to continue to play with this stuff.
Right. Yeah. So, just want to be like, partner up with some cool people who are definitely like on the same wavelength as I am, so that I can, lazily put out content for them and like everybody's like, cool, we're good. Like, I never want to get into one of those high pressure situations where somebody like, I've seen other people were like, oh, I've been busy because I'm working with like 3 sponsors and I got to put out all this content and so forth. And I'm like that, like, that seems like it takes away a lot of the fun about what you're doing. So like, I rather work with the people who are just like,
I gotta go. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
We knew you had an exit.
Yeah. See you guys later. Thanks, Kimani.
Later,
Bye.
thank you. But yeah, I definitely just wanted to, partner up with some people who are doing some cool things, who are doing things in the realm that I'm interested in, and be able to like make educational content, make fun content, and just kind of like do it when I need to, do it when I want to, and not be on any sort of time schedule. So that's my, long-term goal, is to like grow my community, reach out, make some good partnerships, make some good friendships, and just have fun with it. Like at the end of the day, like I just want to have fun. I want to talk to cool people like you.
Yeah.
I want to like, just hang out and just, if I have a crappy day at work, I want to just be able to like jump online or go into the shop and make a thing and just like chill out with people.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. Like this community allows that too. You know what I mean? Like you can be part of it. You don't like, there's such a mixture of people, of like hobbyists that are doing this, to people who want it to be a full-time thing, and to people who are full-time, like there's such a intermingled variety of people, and we all just hang out and share and just try to help each other grow. It's amazing.
Yeah, like I said, I came from a photography background, and it's a night and day difference in the amount of support you get for doing thing that you love to do. I came in here knowing zero. I didn't have like a grandpa who taught me how to woodwork or anything like that. I literally watched some videos online. I was like, meh, I'll figure it out without cutting a finger off. And, I slowly built up some knowledge, built up some firsthand experience, but there were people along the way who were like, "Oh, you want to do this thing? This is the right way to do it, or this is the way you can do it." Whereas in photography, like if you see a cool like lighting technique, depending on who you're talking to, they're like, "Oh, I just added a couple of lights. You'll figure it out. You should try it out yourself. You'll figure it out." Like they were so close to the vest because they always feared somebody's going to steal something from them and like take their clients or take their base. Whereas here, people just throw stuff out all the way. Like, oh, you want to make a cutting board? Here you go. Like, this is the kind of wood you need. Like, start with this. Like, do this. Do
right.
that.
Yeah, exactly. No one covets those things. They don't hold them.
So that's the one thing that's why I like this community so much, and why I try to do some of the things I'm doing right now, is because so many people were just willingly just sharing their knowledge, sharing their information, that I'm trying to turn that around and like be able, like, for as long as I'm in this maker space, like I want to turn it around and be like, here you go. You want to know how to do epoxy? I'll tell you everything I know, everything I messed up on, and hopefully like, save you some trouble. Like,
Yeah, because a lot of people like to do things as a hobby, and they don't want that full commitment, or they can't invest the money to learn. So to be able to get that information and to go experiment and have fun, teach your kids something cool, make yourself something nice.
Right.
It's cool to have those resources out there that you couldn't find easily before.
Like, as they say, Hove did that, so you didn't have to go through that.
Yeah.
I probably butchered that, but I'm trying.
But I know that. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, no, like that's my end game. So is to make it fun, meet a lot of cool people, go to these events where I just like meet people in person, like Workbench Con. It's phenomenal. So like I know
so much fun.
You've probably mentioned like anybody who hasn't heard about it, like just go. Figure it out, make it work.
It's so funny. So I try not to talk about it too much because it's such a part of my life. I'm like, I hope I don't annoy people by talking about like Workbench Con or Haven or Sabretooth, but like they're a huge part of my life now.
Yeah. And as a testimonial, the impact and change is real.
It is. Yes. Thank you.
Even for somebody who was only halfway there, it's super good.
I started a video and I have to finish it still, but it's just like, is Workbench Con worth it? Because that's like the question everyone asks when it gets closer. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I fully believe it is, but you have to know what you're going into. If you think you're just going to go there and you're going to sign a brand deal right there on the spot, that's not what it's there for. It's to teach you, to inspire you, to open your mind to new concepts and things that you didn't think you were going to experience, there. It's not to make the deals there. It's to make the contacts so you go home and then you make the deals.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you make that video, if you need anybody to do a testimony, I will literally sit there and, record a video segment for you. Like, I was only there 50% of the time and it has affected me 100%.
Yeah.
It was massive. Like, one, just being able to meet people, like, it's like Clubhouse in real life. Like, all these people I met, like, I'm shaking hands, we're having drinks, we're chit chatting. Like, it's real life. That is, it's really different. So
yeah, it feels surreal though, for sure.
Yeah, so, and then the added bonus of like, you're seeing brands, you're seeing, the people behind the accounts, which is, that's the massive part. Like, meet people, people, talk to people, like you said, don't just think you're just going to like, I have 70,000 followers. I don't understand why you're not cutting me a check right now. You're like,
yeah,
you don't even know my name, dude. Like, like, how about shake a hand and like come to dinner? Maybe we'll see if this is a thing. Like, I didn't see it firsthand, but I heard there was some of that going on. But
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean,
but I'm like, hey, I got 500 people who follow me. Like, can I get a packet of pigment? So,
gotta ease your way in.
Exactly. And they're like, oh yeah, so packet, here's a box of pigment.
I was gonna say, they're like, here, have all of this pigment.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, if for nothing else, like, definitely make sure you show up on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I went there and I knew I'd have to ship a whole big old box. I think it cost me like $80 to ship everything that I had gotten. I mean, it was worth way more than that, but yeah. Be prepared if you go to ship something home.
Yeah, if you get a free carry-on, just go ahead and bring an empty suitcase.
Right, there you go. All right, man. Well, you have a good night. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It was fun to hang.
I haven't had my cherry popped in a very long time, but you were very gentle, and I hope you call me in the morning.
I probably won't because I'm like that, but
I'm gonna write about this in my diary.
Gotta let him, want more. Keep him hanging.
just sit by my phone. I was like, I hope she's gonna call.
She hasn't messaged.
So, do I call her? Do I text her? Do you wait 24 hours? I don't know. I've been out of the game for a while.
I'll be calling you tomorrow when I get that piece in, and I'm like, oh
yeah. Hey, I'm waiting for it. So
yeah.
I hope you love it just as much as Ben did. It was. I'm still working on the video for it right now, but I'll wait until you present it before I do anything. But no, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you to anybody and everybody who listens to this. Find me on all the medias.
I'll tag you. Yeah.
Look for the Afro logo. It's probably me.
All right, man. See you later.
Later. Have a good night.
Bye. You too.
All right. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Kimani. If you don't love him now, I don't know what'll change your mind. He's a great dude, and you should definitely follow along his journey. He's going to be doing all kinds of different YouTube videos coming up, so go check him out. And once again, thanks for Ben for hanging out, and of course angering his wife by not leaving on time, even though I gave him like a bat signal to get out. So there you go, Ben. I yelled at him for you, Debbie. All right, guys, have a great one, and thank you again for listening to the show. If you want to become a Patreon and support the show, head over to patreon.com/makerconversations.